In this video, I am going to explain the clear differences between data sharing versus sync in the Databricks. Here, data sharing is a different concept and sync is a different concept. And let me go through details for this for your clear understanding. Here, if you see the quick comparison, data sharing, here we are just sharing the data, but a sync is, here we are not sharing, but it is a target data storage, for example delta table. In the Databricks data sharing, we are not copying the data, we are just sharing. But in the data sync, it is a target table or target database or target system. So in the sync we have physical copy of the data. In the case of data sharing, it is a read-only consumers, but data sync, we are writing data to storage systems. So for example, data typical, if you see the use case in data sharing, it is a internal department, from sales department data to be read by marketing department. There, in that scenario, we can use data sharing concept. But here in the data sync is, we are persisting the transformed data into a storage layer. It can be anything. It can be a queue, it can be a table, it can be a database, it can be a cloud location, anything. But here in the data sharing, consumers always only read data. They can't edit anything. But here in the data sync, if requires, even we can rewrite the data, but it needs ETL pipeline. Here in the data sharing, we don't need any ETL pipeline. But data sync, because we are receiving the data from the source and then transforming and writing into data sync. Data sync is nothing but a target data location. So for this we need a ETL. So the key examples for data sharing are, we are delta sharing, suppose delta table sharing and unity catalog share. But in the case of the sync, example is delta table, Kafka topic, SQL database and AWS S3. So in the scenario one, I will explain in detail of data sharing. So what we need to do in the data sharing? In the data sharing, what we need to do, we need to create share. We need to give some name and we need to create a share, and we need to add a table to it, and then we need to create recipient. Who is the recipient here? Marketing team is the recipient, and we need to grant access, select access. So here marketing team, they have now select access. They can read the data from the delta share. Here if you see that, zero storage cost. Here we are just sharing the data, and real time whatever data is available and marketing team can read it. And data governance also read only, because already it is maintained in the Unity catalog. So in the data sharing mechanics, if you see that sales data table, we are just means we are dumping into delta sharing protocol. It is called delta share or Unity catalog, that also we can share it, and then giving select access to marketing team. No copy, we are just sharing the data. So if you see the typical advantages here, we don't need any ETL pipeline and we are not duplicating the data, just we are sharing the data. And coming to scenario 2, it is a Databricks data sync. Most people confuse here. Sync is nothing but it is a target data location. So here transformed data we are storing into a data sync. Let me give detail in this scenario 2. Here in this Databricks data sync, what we are doing here, just we are reading the data, this is streaming data from the Kafka, and then writing into a delta table. So that we are giving option is subscribe and orders, and then we are reading the data load and writing the streaming data, whatever data we read, to delta table sync or delta table write stream, and then option is checkpoint location and then start. So we are writing that data into a delta table. Its name is orders. So we are reading the data from Kafka and writing into a delta table. That's what we are physically doing. After transformation, we're writing into a delta. So even we can write the target location. It can be a file or it can be a SQL database. Here if you see that we are reading the CSV file and then we are writing into a SQL database. Here the table name is orders. So here physically we are writing into a target location after transformation. So sync, if you see the sync mechanics, we are getting data from the source or Kafka or CSV, and we are doing the transformation, and then we are writing a sync. Sync here is a delta lake. It can be a delta table, it can be a SQL database. Physical write, we are writing data into a target location. And stateful checkpointing, we are also giving the checkpointing location. So we are maintaining all the ACID stream processing state. So if any failure happens, we can do recovery. But target flexibility, things can be, it can be a cloud object, it can be a message queue, or it can be a relational database. In the simple diagram explained here, in the ingestion layer, it can go to Databricks, medallion architecture, and consumers can use data from the data where we stored from the target tables or target location. So if you compare both these two, in the data sharing is from the producer we are writing into a delta table, it is a storage, and from the delta table we are giving we are creating a share, and then in the share we are adding the table and then providing read access to the concerned department or the team. Here we are not copying the data, we are just sharing the data, but live data is available. But in the case of data sync, we are getting source data either from Kafka or CSV, and through Spark engine or in the Databricks we can write in the code in notebooks and all transformation logic. After that we are writing the output into a delta table, that is called sync storage. But here we are just physical copy we are doing, and we are writing the data, and for this we need all ETL pipeline setup. So here if you see that use case of data sharing, if you see that we are eliminating the manual copy and we are just sharing, and zero duplicate storage and instant updates are available. But in the case of the data sync, IoT telemetric streaming data we are receiving, and we need to do transformation, and then we need to write into a sync or target location. So for this we need a ETL pipeline, and whereas for the case of data sharing we don't need any ETL pipeline. Thank you.